After viewing the video I just recorded and the video that will follow after this, I had some things to say in addition to. I noticed that it took a very long time for me to explain myself, too many words. So I will be splitting up this video into two parts. And the first will be about the documentation of my daily progress towards this project, and the second video will be covering my ideas, the more important part basically, on how I orientate my mind towards progressing and the steps that I want to make. So, connected to that was my attempt to improve my audio with this thing. That didn't work at all. There is a sort of Zoom connected to my audio, so I won't be doing that in the future, also not in this part of the video. That is a bit annoying, most likely also for you to listen to, so please bear with me. I'm sorry, but yeah, let's head on to the video. So, I first of all wanted to start off this video by talking about my morning. What type of morning did I have? Well, I sort of got caught up in my dopamine hits. Basically drinking too much coffee and smoking too much cigarettes while thinking about my decisions, my world, and how I was gonna do this video the right way. So it ended up being a lot of procrastination, and that might also be the reason why you sense that I'm a little bit more chaotic or hectic in this video, but it's okay. As you can see, I had a slight modification. I'm really turning into a cyborg these days. The reason why is because of me not having a lot of equipment to make these videos. I'm doing this on my iPhone or my phone, and I noticed that the quality of the audio could be better. So I was gonna check if this was gonna help in any way. Otherwise you won't see me wearing it anymore. I prepared for this. I have a lot of notes, but those I've made throughout the time that I've been working on these projects, so it covers about 2 weeks. But first of all, I looked back at the first video with the purple label and checked out what I was saying in that video, because I didn't remember at all what my aims were. So I looked at it and I was surprised to be satisfied with what my aims were, and that those aims were satisfied. That makes me happy. This video would definitely connect well to what I've said in the first video. So, unexpected but true. Beyond that, I have started documenting what I do on a daily basis. It's important for me and myself to see that I am doing stuff towards this, which makes me happy. But also I wanted to map out the steps that I've been taking for you to also have a blueprint or something. So I'll cover that now. And then we'll move on to my ideas surrounding this process. And then lastly, I will cover my aims again. So yeah, let's get started. So on October the 30th, which was the last time I posted a video on this topic, I recorded the video, I edited it, through watching a video on YouTube, a tutorial of the basics, truly the basics of how to edit videos in iMovie. It helped. I did edit my first video, although there wasn't a lot of editing, I must admit. But for the moment, I don't really see what I should edit. Because me editing these type of videos would only harm the authenticity of it, which is a big thing. And the only thing that I would edit is curse words, which I don't want. I wanted that to be in there. Or errors in speech, which I also don't want to edit out because that's me. Everybody makes mistakes. So I'm going to leave it at that, basically. Not sure if that will ever change, actually. I created a thumbnail for that video. That was also the first time. Watch the video on how to edit that too. Both videos I will link in the description for you to get a sense of what input I used and a sense of what input you could use. The 31st didn't do a lot. No, actually nothing, because I went to a game with my brother. It was an away game for our club, and it was a lot of fun. But I didn't get any time. I didn't make any time for this, which seemed inappropriate anyways. On November the 1st, I basically did little towards this all. The only thing that I did is airdropped the video from my phone to my laptop, which was a big step apparently. And I created the thumbnail for the third video. So that was on how I was doing. On November the 2nd, I edited the third video in iMovie and posted the third video. This could be verified looking at the dates. On November the 4th, I had a conflict with my brother. I made a whole video about it. It was a slow start of the day, but eventually my dad got me to work on the logo that I was trying to get together. I remember using different programs, editing programs, like Paint, Pixlr, and Photopea, I would say. All got referred through videos, but they weren't worth it because they didn't get the result which I wanted. So he came with a screenshot program called Snagit, and that worked perfectly. I'm happy with my logo. And that was also one of the aims that I wanted to achieve in the last video. So that just is highly rewarding, I would say. Beyond that, so I recorded that emotional video. That was very hard for me, especially to get it right at that point. But I think I did an okay job of it. I started on my logo, but it got intervened by that conflict. But after that conflict, I eventually decided to move back to my housing in the city that I study at, and I finished off the logo the day after, I believe. Yes. There was a problem returning to that city because I couldn't verify my account. Google was telling me that there was no way that they could verify that it was actually me controlling the Google account and YouTube account, which sucked because it was my fault because I didn't add any verification methods, which I did, and then they notified me that it would take 7 days at least for it to become functional. So that disabled me to make any progress. Maybe I used it as an excuse too, but that's okay. Beyond that, oh yeah, I would just like to mention, if you're ever considering to start something like this, please use the verification method. Think about it, because it will sideline you for a few days if you don't. Considering if you go on vacation and you spend 2 weeks over there, then you're really completely screwed. So, after a while, I stayed there for 4 days, but I got so frustrated that I wasn't doing shit that I basically needed to figure out anything that I could do. So I was thinking about video ideas, and I finally started making the voice memos. So what I'm doing now is, instead of thinking and repetitively thinking about an idea and sort of perfecting it, I just use my phone recorder to record the idea, and that enables you to listen to it back and get a sense of what you wanted to talk about back then, instead of you forgetting it, because I do forget a lot. But yeah, and I don't want to wait for any reminder, because that comes back too. But okay, getting sidetracked. So that I did on the 6th of November. It took me 2 days. On November 8th, it was finally possible for me to post my logo that I made. I wanted to see how it looked on my channel and give me an impression, but it took me until I needed to return back to Belgium for me to see that. But I was happy. On November 9th, I changed my channel name to La Vie en Rose instead of La Vie en Rose. It was a spelling mistake that I made, and a friend of mine pointed that out, which was nice. I didn't want to be exposed with a mistake, but it's okay. I could have expected that, with considering my capabilities. And I created the thumbnail for the emotional video, the conflict with my brother, the one on my conflict with my brother. Then on November 10th, so yesterday, I edited that video. That was also extremely hard, not only to look at, but also to... I noticed that there were a lot of inconsistencies connected to it, and that I wasn't completely clear and repetitive. So I didn't want that video to go to waste, so I tried my best to get everything to stick together properly. But we'll see how that will be received by anybody. So I posted that video too, and it was the first time yesterday that I actually bleeped something in my audio. It was actually the city that my brother and I study in, that I just want to keep to myself for the moment. And that was interesting, just a smaller step now fooling around with the audio. So that's great. Next to that, today I actually added a description to the second video, which I forgot to do. I remembered that I forgot, so that was a good thing. I corrected that mistake, but it's okay. And hopefully for today I'll also be able to add that I edited this video, made a thumbnail, and posted it. Shouldn't be too much effort, but we'll see. I didn't write it down yet because I didn't do it. So also, I just talked to my dad, and I realized that there is something else that improved that is quite important. It is looking as simple as looking at yourself and your recordings of yourself without any discomfort or so. I did experience that in the emotional video, but I was just tough and I was doubting to post it. But I seen a gradual improvement in the comfort that I feel, and that's good. It's nice. It proves that it's just a mental boundary that you need to work yourself around or through to improve in this context. It might have something to do with the perceived judgment of others watching this, and that's why for me it's quite easy, because I know that nobody's watching this at the moment. But yeah, it proves that it's just a product of the mind, and that the judgment of people watching gets translated in judgment from yourself towards yourself, and that is just pure BS. Proves again that the mind is not always working for you. So yeah, this would be the end of this part. If you like this, please consider watching the second part. I think that that would be a lot more useful to the people that are interested in this type of information. So yeah.